Hello friends, and welcome back again to my Shire build. I wanted to make a video talking about something which, on the surface, may seem an obvious answer. I want to talk about why I made this project and why I continue to make this project. Besides the fact that I love Minecraft and I love Lord of the Rings, the reasons and motivations during this project go much deeper than that. One of my recent videos was going into the visual and artistic inspirations that have gone into a lot of the building in this project. I loved making that video. I think it's been one of my most insightful videos on this world, and it's got good reception as well, so my friends really enjoyed hearing about those inspirations. So I want to talk today about my deeper inspirations behind this world. I have always struggled with my mental health. During my teenage years, I found sort of a refuge and escape in the game of Minecraft. I often would drown out my worries by just enveloping myself in playing this game, unhealthily really. As I got older and made progress and distanced myself more from video games, I didn't play Minecraft much anymore at all. But I found myself eventually returning to it when I needed a refuge and a safe place, somewhere that felt like a peaceful escape. That turned into my forever world, where I had this ambition to build this grand world with all these builds and build it over time and just be a place I continued to return to. From the beginning of my construction in this world, I almost immediately started turning towards Middle-earth and Hobbit builds and goals, until eventually when I actually started building Hobbit builds in this world, the dream and the ambition and the passion to create this world of Middle-earth that I dreamed about, that I longed for, that I imagined, unfolded and completely enveloped all my inspiration in this world, until it basically became my ambition to turn the world into a recreation of the Shire and really a piece of Middle-earth, because I couldn't ever realistically endeavor to build too much of the world of Middle-earth, as it is so incredibly vast. But growing up, Middle-earth, Tolkien, hobbits in the Shire especially, had always also been a refuge for me. The Shire was a place of comfort and peace and beauty where I always longed to reside, and often went there in my thoughts when times were tough. And obviously Tolkien sort of made the Shire this place of idyllic peace and comfort and refuge, which so many of us fans see it as, obviously. Obviously, one of the great things about literature and imagination is that we can have these places of peace and idealism that we can venture to in our imaginations when the world is overwhelming. Of course, that spell of idealism would be broken if we were actually in that place. But of course, the Shire is not real, so it can live idyllically in our minds. And of course, there's always a longing to go to these places that we idolize, which to me is a reflection of our longing for eternity, for heaven. Anyways, I've been in love with Tolkien's world since I was a kid, and likewise, I've loved Minecraft since I was a kid, and this eventual combination of the two was sort of inevitable, I suppose. But once I reached the point where it was my ambition to build the Shire and I was doing this Hobbiton project, I became completely engrossed in it, but mainly only when my life was not looking as well. I've always gone through fluctuating periods with this world where I get super engrossed in it for a while and then set it aside for sometimes months or even a year, because it always seems to be a world I return to when I need that refuge, that peace, that familiar place of abiding where everything seems prosperous and bright. And thus you could say this world became for me a bright light in dark places when all other lights have gone out. I ever long in this project to manifest my imagination, bring forth the vision of beauty and peace that the Shire is in my mind. And really just the idea of building that magical world is what keeps me going in this project, and is whatever draws me to return to it when I've stepped away. Because as long as I live, there will always be that desire and that effort to build or find that peaceful abode. And of course I know I will never really fully achieve what I could wish to do in this world, but the peace and joy I've gotten at times by returning to this project and just working on it and just abiding in this world that I've created in a small way is what always inevitably leads me back to it, and I hope it does for a long time. I will end by reading a passage from Lord of the Rings that is one of my favorite passages in the whole book, and for whatever reasons, always makes me think of the peace of the Shire, and makes me comforted by it. I wonder what sort of tale we've fallen into. I wonder, said Frodo, but I don't know, and that's the way of a real tale. Take any one that you're fond of. You may know or guess what kind of a tale it is, happy ending or sad ending, but the people in it don't know, and you don't want them to. No, sir, of course not. Baron now, he never thought he was going to get that Silmaril from the Iron Crown in Thangorajim, and yet he did, and that was a worse place and a blacker danger than ours. But that's a long tale, of course, and goes on past the happiness and into grief and beyond it. And the Silmaril went on and came to Erendil. And why, sir, I never thought of that before. You've got some of the light of it in that star glass that the lady gave you. Why, to think of it, we're in the same tale still. It's going on. Don't the great tales never end? No, they never end as tales, said Frodo. But the people in them come and go when their part's ended. Our part will end later, or sooner. And then we can have some rest and some sleep, said Sam. He laughed grimly. And I mean just that, Mr. Frodo. I mean plain, ordinary rest and sleep, and waking up to a morning's work in the garden. I'm afraid that's all I'm hoping for, all the time. All the big, important plans are not for my sort. Still, I wonder if we shall ever be put into songs or tales. We're in one, of course, but I mean, put into words, you know, told by the fireside, or read out of a great big book with red and black letters, years and years afterwards. And people will say, let's hear about Frodo and the Ring. And they'll say, yes, that's one of my favorite stories. Frodo was very brave, wasn't he, Dad? Yes, my boy, the most famousest of hobbits, and that's saying a lot. It's saying a lot too much, said Frodo, and he laughed, a long, clear laugh from his heart. Such a sound had not been heard in those places since Sauron came to Middle-earth. To Sam suddenly it seemed as if all the stones were listening and the tall rocks leaning over them. But Frodo did not heed them. He laughed again. Why, Sam, he said, to hear you somehow makes me as merry as if the story was already written, but you've left out one of the chief characters. Samwise the Stout-Hearted. I want to hear more about Sam, Dad. Why didn't they put more of his talk, Dad? That's what I like. It makes me laugh. And Frodo wouldn't have gotten far without Sam, would he, Dad? Now, Mr. Frodo, said Sam, you shouldn't make fun. I was serious. So was I, said Frodo, and so I am. We're going on a bit too fast. You and I, Sam, are still stuck in the worst places of the story, and it is all too likely that some will say at this point, shut the book now, Dad. We don't want to read any more. And so life may feel at times, that there is too much darkness, too much sorrow, that we cannot go on, that we don't want to see what's next. There are always places of peace and beauty and prosperity, refuge, even if we have to build them ourselves sometimes. There is always light to outshine the darkness. And what a beautiful reminder Tolkien's words are of that reality.